Good morning. I'm up here talking. My brother done told me I was muted. Welcome to No Apologies, Please. I'm your host, Greg Meriweather. It's Friday. Exciting Friday. I've got an amazing guest, my brother Thomas X. We've met by way of brother Nuri Muhammad. We've become really close. It's my guy. I enjoy my time talking to him. We talk often. I shoot stuff off him. He shoots stuff off me, man. We just vibe. I'm happy to have him on because I just believe this is a guest that's going to bring some light to the show, to the city. He's just, like I said on my post, he's a father. He's my brother. He's a student. He's a teacher. When it's all said and done, this is just a phenomenal brother. So, man, let me not hold back and bring him on in, man. Here's our brother, Thomas X. How you doing, my brother?
Oh, man. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for those kind words, my brother.
No doubt, man. It's always good to see my brother. Me and his brother get out, man. His brother gets me off the couch and has me walking on the Monine Trail, man. He had one day, I think he made me walk about 7 miles. And the brother we just talking, and I'm slowing him down. He's 10 years younger. He's 10 years younger than me. So he's moving along and I'm trying to keep up with him. I don't ever tell him my back or my hips is hurting. I just keep it moving. So, brother, introduce yourself and welcome to No Apologies, Please.
Oh, man. Thank you for having me. First of all, as you stated, brother Thomas X, uh, educator, author, family man, first and foremost, striving to be a brother and follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as well. And just someone who's striving to become the best version of themselves. That's
Yeah,
it.
my man.
Businessman, everything.
Yeah, man.
And speaking of business, if you hear a little bit of noise, please forgive me because I'm using our office up here at the child care center.
Yeah, man, brother be at the child care center. I'll be like, boy, how many
Yes.
kids you got, Thomas?
My wife and I, we have 5 children.
5 children.
Five
Two
children.
boys.
3 boys. So we have our boys are 18, 17, and 6, and our daughters are 10 and 9.
Nice. So,
Yes,
man,
sir.
when it comes down to it, man, let's just get it going.
Yes, sir.
As a family, man, one of the toughest dynamics that we see right now in our community is the family, the Black family, being dismantled.
Mm.
Um, how does that? As a brother who I know as a family man, how does one bridge that gap and get us back into the fold of being family people as we once were?
That's a great question. I was actually having this conversation with my wife a couple days ago, and I was having it with a few brothers that I know maybe a couple weeks ago. I think one of the missing fabrics and the main missing fabric in our relationships is God.
Mm,
So when God is not taught in the school, when so many of us are falling away from being interested in attending churches or even mosque, right?
hmm
We're not with all religious affiliated buildings.
Sure.
A lot of us are becoming disinterested in participating in the activities that go along with these institutions. So it's something about being connected to church. It's something about being connected to mosque. It's something about just being connected to God
Mm.
that puts principles in the mentalities of people who are engaging in relationships. And when we get involved in a relationship, those principles are what strengthen our relationship, that helps us maneuver through all of the ups and downs that are going to come whenever you have a family.
Yeah.
So I
You-
really think in this time we're living in, God is the main ingredient that's missing in order for us to keep our family strong.
Yeah. That is, I absolutely love that, because I believe that having God as the foundation
Yeah,
is definitely it's the having God as the foundation allows us to, that's the first part of building,
that's a
is
fact.
that foundation. And so, with that being said, going into that, let's lean into that, because one of the things that I've seen as it relates to the church per se, you say the mosque, I'm talking about the church that I grew up in. The
Well,
church that I grew up,
I grew up in the church too now.
okay, I feel you. So the church that we grew up in,
Yes.
uh, it doesn't, and from my perspective, it doesn't seem as if that church exists
Mm,
anymore. It
mm,
seems like it's a different institution now. It doesn't seem as giving as it once did. It doesn't seem as stringent, as disciplined as it once was.
mm.
How does one take that and say, okay, you say God is the foundation. How does one take that? Because a lot of people are turned off by that. How do we take that and get people back to that? Because I believe it's church. The church has to make a change, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
the church, and one thing that we strive to do, that I've learned from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is to strive hard to be non-divisive, right?
Mm,
So as a brother who's a Muslim, I don't want to speak about the church from a divisive standpoint, right? Because we all have issues just
sure.
as a community, even those who attend the mosque, right? We all have issues.
Hmm.
So however, I also don't want to make it a place to blame as a blanket statement, right?
Hmm.
Because churches are made up of individuals.
True.
So I think that the individuals have to get more in tune and inclined with submitting our will to do God's will, right?
Hmm.
And the more we submit our will to do God's will, one of God's wills is to use our gifts, skills, and talents as a service to others.
Amen to that.
As we begin to go through the process of self improvement, so we are taught that self improvement is the basis for community development.
Mm,
So as each individual in the church begins to intentionally and take it personal, take their self improving personal,
hmm.
then each of us can do our role in providing a service. And once each one of us do our role, then the church or the mosque
Hmm.
does
Yeah,
its role, right?
does its role. Yeah, and
Because and I say that because it's not just the pastor, right?
sure.
It's not just the minister. It's not just the imam. I know these institutions are made up of individuals,
Yeah.
and if all of us, like I say, engage in that process of improving ourselves to become the best version of ourselves and provide the best version of ourselves to the communities in which we are duty bound to serve,
Hmm.
then we will see the changes happening that really must happen in order for us to make the progress that we're striving to make. Because there's
Yeah.
nothing new under the sun. And the
No.
same issues that we're facing in 2024, we've been talking about these same issues in 2023, 2022, 2021.
That's real.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who comes and articulate the pain the best.
Yeah.
End of the day, we have to engage in work in order
Yeah.
to solve these issues.
I agree, man. Faith without works is dead.
Dead.
And I think that right now the work is, I mean, it's evident that
It's
the work is not being put in, simply because, I mean, Brother Thomas, I mean, we live in a world where it almost looks as if you're doing the wrong thing, it's the right thing.
Celebrate it. Yeah.
Yeah, you and I talk a lot. When we live in a world where, um, you know, and I'll say it, that the mainstream influence is driving our community down this rabbit hole of it that's truly disgusting at this point.
Yes, sir.
How do we get our minds to start being more aware of the fact that, what, when sisters now can get a check for showing their bodies on Instagram, you go into these schools and all of a sudden it's like you're called an influencer, but the only thing you're doing is selling sex. The hypersexual thing that they said our women were, now they're doing it as opposed to fighting against it. The
Yes, sir.
gangster mentality, the thug, the all that's being sold, and we do it. No one has to tell us to do it anymore. We do it. We fought against black exploitation, being on television, seen as a drug dealer, a pimp,
Come on,
or
bro.
any of those things. We fought against that. Now we do it. It's the shows that we watch every single day. How do we get our minds to the degree of saying, you know what, I see it, and I no longer want to be part of that?
Yes, sir. That's a great point that you make. You know, there's a saying that, and we all know it to a degree, that this world makes evil fair
Mm.
seeming.
Yeah.
So what seems fair is what's not good for us.
Yeah.
And what's not good for us, or what's good for us seems to be unfair, right? Or not. I put it like this, brother G. God is not the author of confusion.
Amen to that.
So we're living in a society that is diametrically opposed to God.
Okay.
The proof of that is I'm in the schools a lot. The proof of that is God being taken out of the institution that children are in for the longest time of the day.
Mm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How many times can a person listen to the radio? We like good music, man. We are rhythmic people.
Yeah.
Uh, Doing throughout our conversation, I may quote quite a few lyrics.
Yeah.
And you know I'm
Absolutely.
a music head.
You gonna give me some Nas, I'm gonna give you some J all
Come
day.
on now. How many times on popular radio do we hear God in the music?
Mm, true. True.
How many times are we just in the community, outside of a church, outside of a mosque, outside of a religious institution? How many times are we just engaging in conversation that has God within it?
Mm,
Very few times.
very few. Very
So to
few.
ask the question, how can we pretty much transform from
Mm,
being the people that we are? The
yeah.
scripture says, be ye transformed by
Transform.
what?
Renewing of the
I
mind.
will hit some scripture on you. Yeah, I'm
Come
gonna hit some
on.
scripture too now.
You hear me?
So that's how we gonna get renewed, by renewing our mind.
That's real. That is so true.
You know,
Yeah. It says our women, brother Ibrahim Tanner, he said our women have turned themselves into Sarah Bartman for cheap attention.
yeah,
Attention, Willie Yates said this yesterday. She said attention is the new currency.
yeah,
And when you realize that attention, I mean, just to we I say this all the time. We we want more likes than love.
mm,
And when you look, man, we live in a time, brother, where people will show you them with cords, things on their nose. They in the hospital.
yeah. That's a fact.
People will
That's a
literally
fact.
post themselves
Pray for me.
in the
Yeah,
hospital.
pray for me.
Pray for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pray for
I'm like, brother, go on and be sick.
me. Yeah,
Because you don't look sick when you get the camera and take your own picture
yeah,
in the hospital.
yeah.
Or man, listen, if my kids are listening right now, if you take my picture while I'm sick with you in it and post it, anything you were going to inherit is gone.
It's gone, huh? Give me that back.
It's over.
Man,
But when you think about that, man, why are we so hyperly, why do we want attention to that degree?
Hey, but brother G, the human soul yearns for recognition. It's our
Mm,
nature.
it's our nature.
It's a need-based nature, right?
Yeah.
So you have children.
Mm-hmm.
When our children were small, and hell, even when they grow up, bro,
It's real.
they need.
Yeah.
So it's about who we're looking for attention from.
Uh,
You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
there's always some motivational speaker, some minister, some pastor, decade after decade after decade, encouraging us that the only validation that we need is the validation from our creator.
Mm-hmm.
However, we've become polytheists
Yeah.
because my favorite artist has become my God.
Mm-hmm.
The personality that I'm worshiping has become my God.
Mm.
So we're seeking validation from others who aren't God, putting them in the place of God.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
don't have the people we're seeking validation from, brother G, have no power to wake us up in the morning.
Mm. No
These
heaven and
people
hell to
had
put you in.
these people had no power to provide any type of scientific, uh, any type of anything they could add to the anatomy in the womb to provide
Sure.
us with an eyeball, to provide us with the necessities that will begin the structure that allows us to get teeth as we evolve, right?
Sure.
None of these individuals have any type of real power that their validation will make us greater.
Yeah.
But when God wakes us up in the morning, uh,
Yeah.
when Allah allows us to still be healthy the next day, when in the Holy Quran, it says that Allah takes souls by night.
Mm. Yeah.
Many of us have had dreams or visions when we were asleep that we were a whole nother place outside of that bed that we slept in that night.
Yeah.
But yet Allah was so gracious that he placed our soul back within us that we were able to wake up the next morning and be allowed to become a better version of ourselves. Just
Yeah.
an opportunity. So I say that to say to even brother Ibrahim, how you
Yeah.
doing as well, brother Ibrahim?
Mhm.
Our women, we don't want to place the blame and say they've turned themselves into anything.
Mm. Okay.
Because we could say that we as men have turned ourselves into another version of something that we should be or that we could be.
Mm.
However, no, we all are out here falling for the bait
Yeah.
that God's opposer has for us.
Mm-hmm.
We all are being placed in a state of confusion because if God is not the author of confusion, that means that we've been given a guide that provides us with principles that will put us on the path to becoming the best version of ourselves. But when
Mm-hmm.
the author of confusion come in and we haven't followed that guide, then we're easily led in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
We sheep.
We are sheep. We are
We're
sheep.
sheep like people.
Walk right off the cliff.
We're sheep like people. Easy to lead in the heart, easy to lead in the direction toward our destruction. Hard
Yeah.
to lead in the right direction.
Man. Oh man. Shout out to my brother, Kyler Covington, man. Young brother. I've been knowing him for some time. He says people feel like if it wasn't witnessed, it didn't happen. And that's an interesting dynamic. I do believe that, that's why, even in the work, being a layman and getting out in the community and trying to better the community, it is a sad fact. But even our advocates,
Excuse that doorbell,
oh,
brother.
it's okay. I
Yes, sir.
understand.
Yes, sir.
Even our advocates now take the camera.
Mhm.
Even in supplying to the poor, people take their camera. And it's a sad reality when we look and say you can't even People can't even do good deeds anymore without getting some level of recognition.
Yeah.
And I think that, man, at some point we have to have some sympathy, some empathy, some understanding to be able to say, you know what, it ain't about me. You know,
Yeah.
it is amazing. Like when I look in the Bible and Christ said, he said he'll heal somebody and said, tell no one.
Tell no one.
He said, he said, go and sin no more. The
Come
crazy
on,
thing
man.
about this, brother, is that when we and I hear brothers, let me tell you, I will hear brothers saying that they doing all this work under the auspice of God. They be like, man,
Yeah.
God is telling me. I'm like, okay, if you're doing this, if you're doing God's work, and you say, I'm doing this for God, right? And then all of a sudden I look and you taking your camera and it says, in giving to the poor, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
Yes,
So
sir.
even in your own self, it's a secret. But here's the beauty of it. Y'all got a lot of action. here's the beauty. Here's the beauty of it. When Christ said, "Tell no one,"
Mm-hmm.
one, it was because he said, anyone who knows you. If I knew Thomas X and he was crippled, and he had an encounter with Christ at the time, and he
Mm-hmm.
was healed. If I knew Thomas was crippled, I knew he met someone that could heal him.
Yes,
And at
right.
the point of not saying who, then God gets the glory.
That's
The
right.
challenge in this is people want the glory, but they say they're doing it for God.
Mm. Mm.
It's a whole mentality out here that when I believe, if I believe that Christ said, "Go, I've touched you, you've touched me, you've been healed. Shut up."
Yes, sir.
Then we've gotta be better agents of keeping our advocates straight. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing it for real, then you're gonna keep your mouth closed.
Yeah.
People have always said, "What does Greg Meriweather do?" It just seems as if he talks. But anybody that knows me know
Yes,
that he
sir.
gonna get in there and go to war. But
Yeah.
I ain't gotta have a camera to do it. Can we figure out a way, brother, to put the cameras down and just do the work?
Man, that was something that I caught. I caught some of the show yesterday with
Mm-hmm.
you and Sister Whitley, right? Sister
Mm-hmm.
Whitley.
The Whitley. Yep.
And she brought up a point about passion and profit.
Mm.
Because when you're doing the work and a person has committed their life to just doing servant work,
Mm-hmm.
that person has a desire to make a profit as well.
Mm-hmm.
However, I had a conversation with myself, Brother G. My word is bond to Allah. I was looking in the mirror. This was a couple days ago
Okay.
because it was after a meeting. And I had this meeting with a company that uh, wanted to know if I can speak to some of their staff. And they were asking if I had any videos out on YouTube and whatnot. And I was saying, man, I have to do a better job. I really, I don't do my best at creating content. I have to do better.
We talk about that, yeah.
We talk about that a lot. In a conversation a couple of days ago that I had with myself in the mirror, I was just stating, strive hard to really submit yourself to God.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Allah is shining through me, all of my needs will be met.
Amen.
Even some of my wants go, uh,
That's real.
even some of my wants go get met.
That's
But
real.
for sure, my needs will be met. So any glorification that I can possibly receive will come because of my work glorifying the one who I'm submitting to.
Mm.
So when we
Yeah.
say all praises are due to Allah God, every single every single compliment that I get, everything that I'm recognized for of good, it is only because of God. So if I submit more and more to God, Brother G, if we, not I, if we,
Sure.
all the recognition that we're seeking, we're going to get.
Yeah.
However, we live in a world, we live in a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
In this capitalistic society where money or the bag has become the primary focus,
Mm-hmm.
the primary focus,
Mm-hmm.
we begin to compromise our work in order to secure some finances for the life that is being commercialized that we want to get a part of as well. Right.
That's real.
Now, I was
That's
having
real.
a conversation with my barber a couple of days ago, and we was just stating how when we have honest conversations with ourselves, we will find out that sometimes, and I'm including myself, that's why I say we.
Sure.
Right? I'm not gonna say a them. No, we begin to engage in doing sincere work,
Hmm.
but we find out that as we're progressing in our work, we really want to live the lifestyle that we're championing against.
Hmm. Yeah,
So we become what we despise.
that's real. That's real.
And
It's
that's
it's
in
it's
every
crazy.
aspect of this life. We
In
become what
every
we
aspect, we
despise.
become what we
We're
despise.
not conscious of the decisions that we're making, and we're not conscious of the creator in which we serving. We
Mm.
become what we despise.
Man, yeah. I'm thinking because I'm like, we become what we despise. And that feeds so deep into us because as much as we despise slavery, as much as we despise being oppressed, we are
Mhm.
the biggest oppressor of self now.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
we
sir.
don't work together. Now we will block each other. Now we will kill each other. Now we
Mhm.
believe the only way to get us straight is by destroying one another.
Yes,
And
sir.
when you look at it, we've become the people that we hate, or we become those people. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, man, we can say turn to God, and I agree with that, Thomas. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I'm saying, man, if it's like, how do we even get? We don't even recognize. It's like we don't even recognize ourselves. We don't look and we're not having hard looks in the mirror now because again, there is more promotion of our demise than anything. You
Yes, sir.
can't if you look right now and you tell a sister, hey, uh, you're revealing,
Yeah.
or she's way too revealing. They say that's her body.
Yeah. Her
You know what I'm
body. Of
saying?
course.
Who are
Yeah.
you to tell her how to show off her goods? That's hers. And
Yeah.
we live in that world where the defense of it comes. Or
Yes.
if you tell a young brother, tighten up, more flack gonna come your way for even trying to straighten somebody out. We live in an age and time where instilling discipline is a
Mhm.
dangerous thing to do. How do we
Hey,
get it fixed?
hey, look at this, brother G. Oftentimes, it's not what we're saying; it could be how we're saying it.
Okay.
So look at this. And I once heard a brother was stating that one of the reasons he said there's been many people that have come in and out of the nation of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but you rarely find any. I'm saying a person could go back into the streets and get back into smoking weed, drinking alcohol. Their vices call them back, or as the scriptures say, you run back to your own vomit.
Mm. Yes, sir.
But the one thing that you rarely ever will catch somebody doing,
Mm-hmm.
going back to eating that hog.
Okay, okay.
And and part of that is, he was stating because it's taught on so thoroughly.
Mm.
So because there's so much knowledge that you have on it, we may go back into doing a variation of things. But however, man, I'm not going back to eating that because I know what that would do to me and the poison it contains.
Mm.
So I
Okay.
said to say, whenever striving to help someone change their ways, a person being able to get knowledge and thorough knowledge on what the destruction of the ways that they're engaging in will cause
Mm-hmm.
will help to begin to transform that person, right? That goes back to the scripture that we brought up earlier. be transformed by the renewing of the mind.
Your mind. Right.
So a sister who may not cover herself properly or may not show her true value on social media, it may be because that sister is unaware of the true value that she possesses mentally and the true value that she has with her body. This treasure right here.
Yeah.
If a brother needs to tighten up, it may be that that brother don't know who he is by nature, the true value that he has. Hell, we live in a world that does a magnificent job of making the black man specifically think that he don't have no value.
Real.
So I'm
I mean,
saying if we're teaching each other on our true value, no, I'm not degrading you, sister. No, I'm not striving to degrade you, brother, but you are so much more.
yeah.
And then the more and more we learn about ourselves, as the saying goes, when you know better, you what?
You do better.
Do better.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're in a society that strives hard to keep us from knowing.
Yeah.
And when we
It,
don't know, we're unable to do.
well,
So how can
isn't
we
ignorance
transform our mind if we don't have something that's been provided to
isn't
us that will help us transform our mind?
isn't ignorance bliss? Is there bliss in ignorance?
Come on, man.
I mean, when we look at it right now, it's like we're content with not knowing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I've had more knockdown, drag out arguments over facts and opinions. We
Mm-hmm.
are people who are filled with tons of opinions and never try to seek the facts.
Uh-huh.
And then we go out into this world as if we're operating with a high level of knowledge, and we'll spew ignorance all over the place. It's
Uh,
like we spew ignorance everywhere in this place and are
everywhere.
comfortable with being ignorant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how in the heck did we become these people? This is a quote. I got it scrolling under the bottom of the screen, brother. If you can see it, it says, if the Negro in the ghetto must eternally be fed by the hand that pushes him into the ghetto, he
Mm-hmm.
will never become strong enough to get out of the ghetto. Carter G.
Mm-hmm.
Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We,
But and also you just made a point how there's a certain love or comfort in being ignorant.
yeah.
Truth has responsibility attached to it.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, we find it challenging to engage or take on the responsibility that's attached to that truth,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, the same way we look at having to take on the responsibility to take care of a family, right? Having to take on the responsibility of becoming financially fit. Man, we just have to fall in love with
Mm.
taking on the responsibility of submitting to truth, wherever it comes from.
That's real.
We are unable to have biases as it relates to submitting to truth, right?
Yeah.
And so we unfortunately we have a very challenging task in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Very challenging task. Fortunately, we built for it.
That's real. We built for it.
We built
That's
for it.
without a shadow of doubt, we built for it because listen.
I was speaking somewhere and someone came up to me and it was one of the notes that they took. They said, "Man, I really like this." And I was saying it, I wasn't striving to make it a quotable, like I was sincere
Sure.
in just saying that because we've been through the worst, it qualifies us to become the best.
That's real.
Nobody has been through more than the black man and black woman here in America.
That's real.
Nowhere around the world.
Nowhere around the world.
That's why we're so influential as well around the
Man,
world.
come on.
So
That's real.
if we can provide our influence from an intellectual standpoint, other than just entertainment,
Now we talking.
man, listen,
Now we talking
we
because
will be back on top
that's
because
real.
we've been through the worst, bro. G.
You know,
So we can be
we
the best.
one of the scary things that about us, man, is one, we become big consumers. Um, It's crazy how we try to, and I say this all the time. We do a great job of trying to stuff Africa inside of. We try to stuff Africa inside of Europe.
Come on,
We
man.
do a great job of that. We run outside, and we will, instead of what, one of the things that I learned from segregation is that we had to create,
Mm-hmm.
and integration caused us to stop creating.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened was we forgot that we had our own place. We had our own restaurants. We can eat our own food. We had our own theater, our own hospital. We had our own construction. We had our own ambulance. We had everything.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we got into this wild fight that
Yeah.
we called equality.
Yeah. 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 Yes, sir.
That we called equality. We had equality.
Yeah.
We had equality. Integration, what happened, man? We was It is a strange thing when you think of the vision. Let me tell y'all this. It's a strange thing when you think of the vision. When we look at the fountain, and as we look at the fountain, we think that the water's colder,
The
sweeter,
ice. Come on, that ice is cold.
cleaner,
Yeah.
right? But what we failed to do, and this is no knock to my brother and our champion, Dr. King.
Mm-hmm.
But what we did not do, we did not look under and look at the pipes and realize that the water was coming from the same place. It didn't matter if you had yours and I had mine. We good with that. The
Yeah.
pipes was the same pipes, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we look now, and I tell people this, I said, man, I'm not running out to Carmel to go see no black artists perform at the Palladium. Why can't they perform where we got a spot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we don't realize we feeding into their economic system.
Yeah.
When you look now, people will not create their own clothes. They'd rather say, I'm wearing Louis, not thinking that that's a person. I'm wearing Gucci, not thinking that that's a family. I'm wearing Fendi, not thinking there's somebody. Oh, I'm wearing Ralph Lauren, whose real name was Ralph Lipschitz.
Yep. Yep. He became anglicized, as they
you
call
hear
it.
me? So all of a sudden, we stuffing Africa in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And don't realize that it don't fit.
Yeah.
Because it ain't bringing a darn thing to us. And we are so comfortable having them on our back, on our waist, on our chest, on our head, on our eyes. These are Tom Fords. I wear them, but I'm just saying.
Brother G, I was joking with a brother yesterday. I listened to this song. I'm not gonna say the artist. I listened to this song.
Okay.
And the name of the song is Mr. Put That Ish On. And I text the brother, I say, man, we know we love the white man.
Man.
Because inside of the song, every verse is speaking about these brands, right? I have such and such on. And we real clever with the lyrics now. But the whole song is really just about marketing these brands.
True.
That can care less about the survival of you and your family.
Come on. Could care less.
Right.
That's real.
Matter of fact, they couldn't care less.
That's real. That's real. I mean, man, you know, I tell people this all the time. I used to say this to my son. I said, listen, I said, go to a high a 5-star restaurant, 4 or 5-star restaurant. I said, go Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
I said, and tell me what you see. I said, now Friday through Sunday, we all up in it.
Yeah.
You know, usually around payday.
Yeah.
I said, but they there every day.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, realize this. I said, for us, it's an experience. For them, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's why we take pictures of plates. That's why when we get to the game, we got to show everybody, I ain't y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Kanye said, he said, and I spent $400 on this just to be like, N-word, you ain't up on this. Okay. And that's
I can't even go to the grocery store without some ones that's clean and the shirt for the team, huh? Yeah.
You hear me? And we look at this, man, and we are so captivated, blindly promoting our own demise and stop creating. will not wear,
Yeah.
will not wear our own,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
won't support it
Yeah.
simply because it's new. I asked my son, brother, I said, man, why don't you go out here, find you a design? I'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
Create your own shoe. Start rocking it to school. Oh man, I can't do that. I said, why? Man, people gonna talk about me. I said, so you more comfortable wearing somebody else's name
Yeah.
than your own?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
bro. How do we fix that? How do we change that mindset?
And that
That's
that was
like that's like a drop in the bomb, bro. That's crazy.
that,
How
there
do we
was a
fix that?
there was an album out by a group by the name of Black Star, if you know who that
Oh
is.
yeah, no doubt.
Lib Kweli and Most Def, formerly Most Def.
Yeah,
I seen
yeah, yeah, brother Bay. Yeah.
yeah, and on their album there was a interlude
Mm-hmm.
where this conversation was going on, and it came from a movie.
Okay.
The brother said, "Man, brother, my conditioning has been conditioned." Right?
Facts.
Well, he said, "My condition, the condition that I'm in, has been conditioned."
Yeah.
So I'm so conditioned, I don't even desire to get out of this condition.
Mm.
So when we start speaking about how much we love, just specifically the topic we're on now, branding,
Mm-hmm.
when we start speaking about how much we love other brands outside of our own,
Yeah.
someone will listen to you and may say, man, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
However, matter of fact, I use a perfect example. Someone sent me a video in my DM. They sent me a video of this reel that was made that was stating, I don't know if it's the new line or the new collection, but however, it was showing how LV and Fendi had taken their patterns from Africa.
Sure.
And so I asked the person, I said, if someone gifted you with a duffel bag from the new collection, would you be happy? And the person said, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, well, there was no need to send me this, right? You're gonna send me something, let's dialogue going, you know what I'm saying? Let's dialogue going. Like, what was the need to send it? Right? I'm saying there's no need to send it, right? At this
Nah,
point,
because you already in.
you already you say, yeah, I'm gonna be happy now.
I'm gonna be smiling. Yeah.
Not as if I'm gonna turn it down because I know this knowledge or
Yeah.
I have this information. So it's
It,
a challenge, man.
it's crazy because even our wealthiest are bought in.
Yeah.
When you look, I remember, just going back and watching the Grammys, and I see Beyonce at the table, and she got the cowboy hat on, the cowgirl hat on, however you want to call it, and then she had on all Louis Vuitton,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, in the LVs, they're just popping. You know what I'm saying? And so when you see that, it's like even our wealthiest are still being submissive.
Yeah.
Even our wealthiest are walking around inferior, could put the money out there, can create the brands, could market the brand, but still they're just as bought in as anybody. And the crazy thing is this, I remember when T.I. was talking about we gonna protest Gucci. And I said, man, we should have, why, who can buy it? And why are we buying it? Who can afford it?
Yeah.
We don't realize that I used to work in luxury. And what I realize is this: luxury items are never to be deemed mainstream. So I remember when you used to be able to go to Tiffany and get the signature Tiffany, return the Tiffany bracelet for about $175.
Mm.
You can't get that bracelet for 175 anymore. It's at least 300. Okay. And then and the prices just continue to rise. So when you look, I remember when the Louis Vuitton Speedy 30 bag was about 3 something, 4 something. Then I watched it go to 7 something. Then I watched it go beyond that.
Yes.
And it's because when they start seeing us in it on a regular, then it's no longer deemed luxury. And we don't even know that. They would, and the beauty, here's the game of it. They would rather see us go broke to have one piece.
Mm-hmm.
It is a system that we don't even recognize, that they look and say, if you buying this,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to cost you for real.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it. We do it. We will save to do it.
Yeah.
We are, think about this, brother. We are the same people. And I ain't tripping. Everybody go on vacation. Enjoy your time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the black cruise ship?
Mm-hmm.
Is there one?
Not that I know of, brother.
Okay. But the crazy thing about this, so sadly, is that we will pay to get on a boat and go to the same islands that they took us as slaves.
Yeah, that's
and mentality, in the mentality, and call it vacation.
vacationing. Yeah.
We will go to places where there are tons of oppressed black people and lay around like them and let them serve us. And we pay for the whole thing.
That's a fact.
And who gets paid? White folk. They own the resort. They own the hotel. They own the boat. They own the plane. Okay? They own the sand.
That's a there's a skit. There's a skit on Chris Rock has a comedy, Never Scared.
Yeah.
Never Scared. So on the comedy album, there's a skit where he's saying that he's like, man, the white man is cold. Because he was speaking about people going to Hawaii. He said, oh man, that's cool. And he started talking about the resort and how there were all people from Hawaii working on the resort. He's like, oh, that's good. They get paid for that. He's like, nah, white man get paid for that.
That's right.
Oh, nah, but they get the economy from this. He's like, nah, white man get that.
Nah. And it's funny, man. I talk to people, they say, well, when we go over there, they say keep coming back because it feeds the economy. I said, how?
Yeah.
They living in these little shanties, man. They living in the homes with 10 roofs. And we sitting there thinking, you know, and it's so deeply rooted when you think about it.
Yeah.
How, and I remember asking the brother, Danielle Howard, I asked him, I said, who invented a vacation? And he was just like, huh? Like, you really gonna ask this question? And I said, it was William the Conqueror. I said, he took all these fantastic places and he said, it's mine. And when he decided to go there, it was like, I don't care where it's at, it's mine. And it's like, we don't even realize that even the term vacation don't belong to us. Okay. And again, brother, one, I gotta have you back.
Yes.
Two, I really want us to really uncover this deeply rooted sense of us being them. We got it bad.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you peel it back. And I say this all the time. I said, a lot of us think we're helping us when the only thing we're helping is to increase white supremacy. I can't feed you every day, Brother Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Especially if I ain't got the farm. I ain't got the farm or the store. And the people that we call heroes for feeding people outside, they beg for the same food they're giving away.
Yeah.
How do we feel? I mean, what at the end of the day, brother, we got some deeply rooted issues.
Man, it's something that you say deeply rooted. That's why in the beginning of our conversation, in every response that I was striving to give, God was mentioned.
Sure.
Because the honorable minister tweeted something out. This was years ago. I think it may have been maybe 4 years ago. But he was stating that out of all of our issues, whether it be financial, whether it be mental, whether it be physical, he said at the root of all of our issues, at the root of it, is a spiritual issue.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. We would be a bolder people, brother, if we ever operated in the truth.
Yeah.
If we operated under the auspice of Allah, God,
yeah,
and said, you know what? I believe that God is the source. I believe that God is in control. If we really, I will say this, brother. You ain't got to say it.
Yes, sir.
I've heard more bondage preached than
Yes.
liberation ever in my life
Yes, sir.
because I don't think the church should be as quiet
Mhm.
as it is if God is truly who they say he is.
Yes, sir.
You
God was
get up.
revolutionary now.
Guess what I'm saying?
Even the Jesus that we praise often, right, with our lips, was
Yeah,
a revolutionary.
that's real. That's
Yeah.
real. So when we look at this thing, I'm like, I got mad. I get mad during election time.
Mhm.
And the reason that I get mad during election time is I look and I see pastors
Mhm.
saying this is who you should vote for. I see pastors opening up their pulpit to
Mhm.
these predators,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I say, hold on, why are you? Because I believe they have a whole nother governance. Okay, if your government system is God,
Mhm.
I don't have to go through that man
Mhm.
to get nothing. If
Mhm.
I believe he owns all, he covers all, he's all in all,
Mhm.
I don't have to go through that man. And
Mhm.
you shouldn't allow him to come here to
Mhm.
tell me nothing. Preach the gospel.
Come on,
Because
man.
the gospel said, we always say cliche, the truth will set you free.
Mhm.
But always ask for the lie.
Come on. That's oxymoronic right there.
You know what I'm saying? You're
That's
gonna tell me you're gonna fix this same house for the last 10 years. You're gonna turn my street lights on. You're gonna bring some economic development, which has never come.
come on,
And
man.
I'm dancing with you. And I'm like, where's God in this, bro? We got a few more minutes. I want you to really hit this because
Yes, sir.
I'm like, how in the heck do we get our people to say, if you truly believe, then you're gonna operate differently. You're gonna be a bold person.
Mhm.
And I live in that boldness. I'm
And
like, I believe in God.
it's a difference between believing and knowing.
Ah,
Right? It's a difference.
okay. Give me that.
So we can believe something, but when you know it, there's a greater level of conviction.
Mm,
So we have to know and have a personal relationship with God if we're going to activate the God within us.
okay.
See, sometimes because it has, as we said earlier, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with becoming who we are by nature, bro. G.
Yeah.
That means that we gonna have to fight against opposition.
Yeah.
This world will oppose us becoming who we are by nature. We gonna have to fight against family. We gonna have to fight against those who we love because the opposition is toward those who strive or who have a desire to become the greatest version of themselves.
Mm,
And no, this is not just from Brother Thomas. In the scriptures of the Bible, in red writing,
mm-hmm.
let me close my eyes when I say red writing. In red writing, huh? I had to show you my eyes were closed.
No doubt. No doubt.
But Jesus says, verily, I say unto you, if you believe on me, you can do the works that I do.
And I do.
The very next verse, verily, verily, I say unto you, greater works
That's
shall
right.
ye
You
do,
do. That's right.
even than I have done.
That's real.
So if Jesus, the same man who evolved into the level where he submitted himself so thoroughly that he can say, I of myself can do nothing. What I do is what the Father bids me to do.
Mm,
When you see me, you see who?
the Father.
The Father. If that same Jesus is saying, greater works shall ye do, even than I have done, and we still rave about his great works 2,000 plus years later.
That's real.
That means we have a responsibility of submitting at a greater level than
Yeah.
even he submitted to.
That's real. That's real.
So that's what I'm saying. If we're going to really become the optimum Greg,
Mm,
the optimum Thomas, the optimum whomever is watching, man, it's going to take some intentionality
yeah.
in this process we call self-improvement.
Yeah.
Not selfish improvement,
But self.
self improvement.
Yeah.
Because the greater we become, we can offer a greater service to ourselves first, to our family, to our community, to our nation, and to humanity.
That's real. That's real.
So I would urge everybody who may be watching this live, who may be watching this show. I'm sorry, no apologies. This is not a podcast. This show,
No doubt.
man, that let's work hard to engage in this process of self-improvement. Yes, we're going to go through some challenging times. We're going to be disappointed. Man, sometimes we go feel like we've been betrayed. But hell, the same God that we serve has went through greater challenges, showing us that he is who he is,
Yeah.
and striving to convince us whom are having the luxury of waking up every day
Yeah.
that he's worthy of being praised.
I'm with it.
So ain't nothing wrong with engaging a little bit of work. Let's soldier up and strive to engage in improving ourselves to the best of our ability, and we'll be surprised to see. And this is not just me regurgitating something that I've read. Now, granted, I have read from the best teacher, in my humble opinion,
Mm-hmm.
the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But however, this comes from life, right? Bruh G, someone was telling me and my wife, we was sitting down, we was just out chopping it up. And man, we have a real life movie that
Mm-hmm.
we can shoot based on our story.
Yeah.
You know, the process of evolution that we've gone through. Like I'm sitting in our business right now.
Yeah.
Right now. We're taught to do for self or
Yeah.
suffer the consequences.
I love it.
Right. We're in a center right now. However, something that started in our loft, Brother G,
Yeah. I remember.
with our children,
Yeah.
right? But yet, man, the way that our life has evolved, right, and still evolving,
Mm-hmm.
it's only a testament of us striving to improve ourselves, us striving to be the best version of ourselves so that we can be better for one another
Yeah.
and be better for our family. But the first person that we know, there's no doubt that we have to be the best version for, is the God in which we striving to serve.
I love it. Man, it's been an honor and a pleasure to
Man,
always have you on, brother. You know, we gonna have you back because I got a lot of questions. We gonna get into some relationship questions.
oh, man,
You know, me and you, we walk and talk a lot. So
yes,
yeah,
indeed.
brother. But I appreciate it, man. And man,
Thank you.
just please, keep the line open. I'll definitely be reaching back out, man, to have you back. So, man, thank you, brother. I
Man,
appreciate it,
brother,
man. It's been Thomas X, man. Y'all tell him goodbye, but brother, I'll see you soon, brother. Thank you. I
yes, sir.
appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother.
No doubt, no doubt. So, man, that's been my brother, man. It's always a pleasure to be able to work with a brother like that, man. Me and that brother walk. We get up, we walk, we talk, and it's always a good time because we bounce everything off each other, man. We feed each other's soul, and we talk about a lot of different things because it's an honor to have a brotherhood like that. Everybody doesn't get that. So I just want to, again say thank you to my brother Thomas X for coming and blessing us with his presence and his knowledge. Because man, dude is the truth. Dude is the truth. So man, let's get to it. It's been a great show. It's Friday. It looks to be a nice day. So man, I want y'all to get outside if you can, enjoy your weekend, celebrate family, celebrate life, learn something, learn something. So our verse of the day is First John, chapter 1, verse 9. It says, "If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness." And man, when it's all said and done, be honest with you. Being able to say I'm wrong it could be taxing. It can be hard. But being able to say, you know what, I was wrong. Being able to say, you know what, I'm a person. Everyone knows that I believe, and I'm a person who sins. But being a person who is able to be honest about it, there is no way, as me and this brother had talked, there is no way I can become the best Greg Meriweather unless I address the worst of Greg Meriweather. I have to be willing to lay it on the line. I have to be willing to fall on the sword. I have to be willing to say, I'm not perfect, but then get up and dust myself off and continue to strive to be great. Know this, people. We can sometimes be our own worst critic, our own worst enemy. But one of the things I want you to understand is this: when you're real with you, can't nobody give you that BS. When you're real with you, you can walk out into this world and do some great things. But the foundation has to start with you being able to address you and get you on the right track. That's what this is about. No apologies, please. Be the best you that you can be. And I promise you the righteousness, it'll come. This has been your brother, man. I've enjoyed it. We've had a great day. I've enjoyed my guests. I enjoyed the feed, man. Thank you all for your input. Continue to get with us, man. We're going to have some amazing guests next week, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Have a great weekend. This has been your brother, Greg Meriweather. No apologies, please. Have a great one. Peace.